Hello, welcome back to Casablanca. In this episode, I'm covering Thanksgiving, which is a 2023 horror film directed by Eli Roth, starring Patrick Dempsey, Nell Verlaque, and Addison Rae. It's actually based on a fake trailer also directed by Eli Roth in the 2000 film Grindhouse. There were several fake trailers in that movie, and this is actually the third one to be turned into an actual movie. So that's actually kind of funny. That in itself is funny, and they changed the tone of it. If you watch the original fake trailer, it's like an over the top, super cheesy. Yeah, it's like not even a B movie. It's more like a Z movie. Like, it's deliberately dumb. And what's kind of funny is they actually took several moments from that trailer and recreated it in the actual movie. But, like, it has a totally different premise than the fake trailer. And yeah, it's like because I had seen Grindhouse when it came out, and I remember seeing that trailer, but I hadn't seen it since then. And then after I came home from seeing that, and I was like, oh, actually, you know what? I should have probably seen that old trailer before watching this. But I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it would if they had made the old trailer into the movie, then it would have been a very different movie. Like, this is one of the main things I hear about this movie is that it's just your typical slasher film, and it is, but they have fun with it. Like, it is kind of a cheesy B movie, but like it's also kind of smart, and it's a very fun one too. Like, they know what it is, and they have fun with it, and they also do kind of change some of the rules. Like, these slasher movies, they have one survivor, there's a final girl. And yeah, there's actually more than one survivor. Not even just like two survivors. It's like a group of survivors. And I'm not going to say, and I'm going to try not to do spoilers here. I'm just going to say that I told a friend, there's no final girl. And here we're like, oh, everyone dies? Like, no, the other way. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of very gory deaths. Like, Eli Roth is well known for like practical effects and very gory films. Like, he made like Cabin Fever and the Hostel movies. All of those are like very, like, they're torture porn basically. And he toned it down for this. Like, I've seen how far he can go, and I'm not really into that, but like, this looked fun, so I was like, I'm gonna go see it. And I was kind of afraid it was gonna be like so over the top torture porn, but like, that's in here, but like not as bad as it could have been. It's more like reasonable gore, if that makes sense. Like, there is no reasonable gore. It's not as gory and bloody as you would think. It is very, it's more so than you would expect from like slasher films nowadays. They try to keep, like, even if it's a rated R, they usually try to keep it bloodless in a way. I've noticed, like, Scream in a way, like, they get stabbed in the stomach, they bleed a little, and that's it. But like with this, like, there are some very, very graphic kills, and unlike there's some slasher films where like people will get stabbed, like people die way too easily in this. No, not in this. There's some slasher films where people die way too easily, and in this, a lot of the kills, the killer who's dressed up as John Carver, who was an actual person, I should add. He was, I think, the first mayor of Plymouth. or something like that. It was like back in, I guess, like the 1600s or something, and they used him as the mask on the thing, which it was hundreds of years ago. I'm sure he was a terrible person because, Pilgrim in the 1800s, they notoriously weren't nice people. But anyway, the killer basically had to work for it sometimes. It doesn't just appear out of nowhere, stab you, and then you're dead. Yeah, like there's one of the quote unquote kills in the trailer that's like, oh wow, that looks intense. But like she survives that and keeps running, and she like actually gives him like a good chase. That's one thing that's missing in a lot of slashers now. They don't really do chases anymore. Like Scream 6 had a few good chases. This one had some pretty good ones, and especially like the one in the trailer. I'm like, well, they just showed someone's death. Well, she doesn't die there. She does die, but that's not how she dies. And the death that she ends up getting is, I was going to say more creative, but it's still it's really creative, but probably not more creative. The killer basically had to really work for it. It's not just as easy as it looks in the trailer. But anyway, I should probably start at the beginning. I will start at the beginning, because for the longest time, for like a long time in the movie, I was like, wait, where does the slashing begin? Because I thought this was a slasher film. And it takes a while to actually get to that. And I'm kind of glad it did. Like, it actually set up a story. There's a story here. There's characters, and it starts you off Black Friday. It's Thanksgiving, and it's at a store, Right Mart. You see it in the trailer, and they're preparing for Black Friday. It starts at 6, and the customers are like, we want in. And it starts like chaos, and like there's a body count, but like it's not a slasher body count. It's just because all the chaos. Like I think at least 3 people die, and one of them you see, because like everyone's leaning against the glass on the door. It like the door caves in, and the glass on the door shatters, and you see a guy. This is at the beginning, so I don't consider this a spoiler. It shows him, there's like a chunk of glass still on the side, his neck. It goes deep into his neck. So like, it wasn't that's what I mean by not slasher kills. Like, it's a freak accident. And, but like, he's still trying to, like, he doesn't die right away. That's what I mean. Like people don't just die really easily in this movie. He still lives for a few minutes. Like, there's kind of the sell going on at this store is the first 100 customers gets a free iron skillet or something like that. And so like right inside the door, there's like a pallet of just a bunch of these boxes of these cast iron skillets, or I think it was a waffle iron or something like that. It's a free something. First 100 customers gets a free something. And there's a big pallet full of these boxes. And so like it shows him like stumbling over to it, and he picks up a box, and then he falls over, and then this lady goes over and like literally takes the box covered in his blood from his hands and runs off. And it's like kind of shows the heartlessness of this crowd. And then like someone else gets knocked down, and her hair gets caught on the wheel of a cart, and then this lady's like basically like dragging her, basically scalps her, because like it really shows like the brutality of people during Black Friday. Like, I don't know if it's really that bad. I have worked retail on Black Friday, but it was a small town, and it did get crazy, but not people at risk of dying crazy. It was more like there was a lot of people, and they all understood like this is just stuff. Of course, this was this was during the pandemic, so like at that point, people was already starting to kind of. I don't think it's that bad now. I think somebody pointed out that like this is how it used to be, and Black Friday isn't that bad now. It mostly stopped because of like Amazon. Now you can just do all your Black Friday shopping online. So like, because I know like back in the 90s, early 2000s, it was like that. It was like I was like, my family was afraid to go anywhere near the mall, anywhere within a mile of the mall or Walmart or anything on Black Friday, because it was just insane. I still remember the news footage of when Tickle Me Elmo came out, and like people were literally beating the crap out of each other just trying to get a Tickle Me Elmo doll. And yeah, that was insane. And it shows that here, it doesn't tell you what year it takes place, but then like after all that, after that scene, it's like I would say 20-30 minute scene. It might not even be that long. It just, so much happens, and like you like meet the characters, and it does a good job, because there's like a bunch of characters. There's like the main girl, her name's Jessica, and she has a bunch of friends, like a big group of friends. I would say 5, 6, and plus her boyfriend, and then her family. Her father owns the store, so like they're able to sneak in a side entrance. So like Jess and her friends sneak in the side entrance, and like the crowd see it, and then they get riled up and like, why are they inside? And then they like push past the barriers and stuff, and yeah, that's a whole thing. That opening really does a good job at like kind of introducing the characters, setting up the story, and kind of the characteristics of this universe, because I'm sure in real life, if what I said about the guy getting his neck sliced on the door, like if that happened, everybody would immediately stop, like, whoa. But like, he's like walking through the store, there's like blood all over the floor, and people are still just running everywhere. So it sets up that this is that kind of universe. And then it says 1 year later, and it shows like, it's been 1 year since the tragedy at Right Mart. And it's like a whole thing, and they're like trying to cancel Black Friday, but the owner of the store, Jess's father's like, oh, I see no reason, let's just do a bigger sale. What's the worst that could happen? The movie doesn't tell you what year it takes place. It gives it kind of this timeless feel in a way, but not really, because like they still have like modern technology, like smartphones and everything. However, on the Wikipedia, it does say it starts in 2022, and the 1 year later is 2023. So I don't know if whoever wrote that just guessed, or if like it actually says it somewhere else. Because like in the movie, it just says Thanksgiving, and then it says 1 year later. But yeah, as for the killer was like very, very good. It was creative. Like I said, the kills were very creative, and they even gave the killer like kind of a personality. Like he doesn't say anything. He doesn't have like a voice changer. He does like at the end when like he does like the speech at the end, and he does like this. It shows like he has like a computer that changes his voice. So he like has like a mic under his mask, and it like goes into this computer and changes it. So he's able to. It has like a voice like this or something. But he doesn't say anything, but he still has a personality. And like one of my favorite moments with the killer is he kills his victim, and like there's this cat in the victim's apartment, and like the cat's just kind of like a character on its own throughout the scene, where like the victim was like, oh, I forgot the cat's name, but like he was talking to the cat, but then like the victim's like starts to think that there's someone in the apartment, and he was like, is there somebody here? Is there somebody here? And the cat looks around, and then like it gets killed right in front of the cat, and the cat just doesn't react. And then like the killer's walking out the door, and the cat meows, and the killer looks over at the cat, and you hear kind of a and then it cuts to the killer like feeding the cat, like filling up the cat's food bowl. And I was like, it's a little thing, but it kind of like adds character to the killer, and it's like I honestly thought it was going to be one of those movies where, like, just to show how ruthless the killer was, he was gonna kill the cat, but he fed the cat, which makes you love the killer, because you can go around slashing all these people up, we'll root for you, but then once you kill an animal, there's no rooting for you. But he fed this cat. I'm like, this is probably my favorite killer in a movie. And I'm not gonna say who the killer is. I will say there are two characters it's obvious. It's obviously one of these two characters. And I spent the whole movie going, oh, it's definitely this one. No, it might be the other one. Oh, no, you know what? I think it's the other one. No, it's definitely the other one. And the whole movie is just like, it's one of these two characters. And I've seen reviews where people are like, I figured it out right away. I knew the second he came on the screen exactly who it was. And I don't know if they're just bragging to try to sound smart, but I couldn't figure it. When it was revealed who it was, I was like, oh. And it's just kind of a flashback kind of explaining. It's not just out of nowhere. Like, it explains who it is and why and how, and like kind of proving that, like, the clues were there all along. And I was like, oh yeah, that just kind of makes sense now that I think back on it. And I have seen other people posting online saying they saw it and they were shocked. But then I see other people that were like, I figured it out right away. Yeah, sometimes that happens. It's like Scream 5. With Scream 5, most people, like, I usually when it comes to Scream, like, I can't figure out who the killer is. And when they unmask, it's like, holy crap. But this time on Scream 5, it's like, I think it's these two. And I was right. The point with that was, it's not who the killers were, it's what their motives were. That was the whole thing. Was, how do these two characters know each other enough to form this plan together, because they seemingly just met for the first time. And so, like, with that one, it's not so much who the character is, and like with this one, it's kind of the same thing. Like, when you find out who it is, like, it makes sense. And then I'm not gonna, I feel if I keep talking about that, then I'll give it away. But yeah, I have seen some complaints that Addison Rae is in here. She's a TikTok star, and like, I'm not a fan of hers. Like, I know when people say that, they're like, I'm not a fan of this person, that means that they hate this person. I cannot stand this person. It's like, I honestly have no opinion of her either way. I hear her name sometimes. I've never seen any of her videos. I have no idea who she is. I mean, I know who she is, but like, I didn't know which one was Addison Rae until after, because I heard she was in this, and I'm like, is she the main character? No. Addison Rae plays a character called Gabby, and I vaguely remember her character in the movie. Like, she's one of the friends, and like, she wasn't like one of the leads. So like, yeah, she was a TikTok star. She's in this big movie. She wasn't the lead. And I don't know why it matters to people that, oh, she's a TikTok star, now she's in the movie. Like, why does that matter to people? Maybe she has talent. Like I said, I don't know. I haven't seen her. I don't know if she has talent, if she doesn't, if she just like lip syncs things on TikTok. I don't know what her channel is. And so I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I can't believe Addison Rae was in here. She's popular. That's probably why they put her in here, because she's popular. She's popular enough that even though I've never seen her channel, I'm not following her, I know her name. I've heard her name. So she's famous enough on TikTok that even people that don't watch her know who she is. That's why she's in the movie. That's my assumption. So I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, I've already covered that. I feel like I'm just rambling at this point on that, just covering the same lines. Like, I don't know anything about her, so I'm not going to judge her. I had some friends ask me if this was going to be my Thanksgiving movie because I had shown some of my friends. I have the rest of my the movies for the rest of the year planned out. I know what I'm going to record for the rest of the year. And so I've showed some of my friends, but like, this is what I'm going to do. And some were like, oh, Thanksgiving is going to be your Thanksgiving movie. Actually, no. That one after that is. And they're like, that's your Thanksgiving movie? You'll find out next week what it is. But my sister asked me last year to cover that movie for Thanksgiving. But by then, I had already recorded my Thanksgiving movie. But I went ahead and made a title card for it, and it's been sitting in my folder for the past year just to remind me that's going to be the Thanksgiving episode for my sister. When I told my sister I'm doing this one for you, she was like, so you'll find out next week what the Thanksgiving movie is. But as for now, I am going to end this episode here.